We need to have a very real, very uncomfortable conversation about a word that our generation has completely stripped of its actual meaning. That word is depression. If you've spent more than 5 minutes on social media, or even just listened to a conversation in the hallway at school, you would think that 90% of our generation has been clinically diagnosed with severe depression. Someone fails a test, "Oh, I'm so depressed." A girl leaves them on red, "Bro, I'm actually depressed." It rains on a weekend, "I'm depressed." We have taken one of the most serious, debilitating mental health conditions on the planet and turned it into some trendy buzzword for "I am having a mildly bad day." And by doing that, we have accidentally created an entire culture of people who are quite literally addicted to their own sadness. Now, before I get into this, I want to make one thing crystal clear. Clinical depression is incredibly real. It's a severe, heavy, and paralyzing condition. If you're genuinely suffering from actual depression, you should absolutely speak up. Tell your close friends, talk to your family, and get professional help. That's not what this video is about. I'm not talking about the people who are genuinely fighting a chemical or psychological battle in the dark. I'm talking about the people who experience a completely normal wave of human sadness, and instead of moving on, they build their entire personality around it. Think about how this usually plays out. Let's say you go through a breakup. A girl breaks your heart. That sucks. It genuinely hurts. It's a terrible feeling. And pretty much 99% of guys on the planet are going to experience this at some point. It's a universal human experience to feel crushed when someone you care about walks away. But what do most of us do in that situation? Do we accept that it's a hard time, feel the grief, and try to move on? No. We go to our bedroom, we turn off the lights, we close the blinds and lay on our bed, stare at the ceiling, and put on Mac DeMarco or whatever the saddest, most soul-crushing music we can find is. We start replaying the memories in our head. We literally start saying things out loud that twist the knife even deeper. Why did she do this? What's wrong with me? I'm never going to find someone else. And then you go on TikTok and repost some really depressive romance video. We actively, purposely curate our own misery. And I can say that because I used to do the exact same thing. I used to sit in my room in the dark and practically force myself to be as sad as possible. Why? Because if we're being completely honest, there's this weird, almost addictive feeling to being the tragic main character of your own life. When you're sad, you feel different, you feel deep, you feel like you're carrying this heavy burden that no one else understands. And in a strange way, it makes you feel special. It's a coping mechanism. If your reality currently sucks, digging into the sadness gives you a sense of control over it. You aren't just a guy who got dumped, you're a tragic, misunderstood artist suffering in the dark. But here's where it actually becomes a big problem. When you start feeding into that sadness, you train your brain to want more of it. You start romanticizing your own isolation. And then you take that romanticized sadness and bring it out to the real world. This is where the attention economy comes in. There are so many kids today who have realized that being depressed is a very easy way to get people to pay attention to them. They will walk into a room and make sure everybody knows exactly how miserable they are. I've literally been in situations, like at the gym, where someone I barely know just walks up to me and starts trauma dumping the most darkest, heaviest personal stuff imaginable out of nowhere. And I'm just standing there like, what do you want me to say, bro? When someone is broadcasting their darkest moments to a random acquaintance, it's like a badge of honor. They're not looking for a solution or help, they're looking for an audience. They have realized that in today's culture, victimhood is a currency. If you're the saddest person in the room, people have to tiptoe around you, people have to check up on you, people have to give you grace if you act like a jerk or flake on your responsibilities. But doing this is incredibly dangerous for two reasons. Firstly, it's a massive slap in the face to people who are actually battling clinical depression. Real depression usually isn't loud. It isn't a bio on Instagram. It isn't a trendy TikTok audio or a repost. Real depression is usually the person who tries their hardest to smile so that nobody worries about them. Real depression is isolating and it's exhausting. So when people run around turning the word depressed into an aesthetic, it makes it 10 times harder for people who actually need help to be taken seriously. Secondly, it ruins your own life. When you label your temporary sadness as depression, you are essentially telling your brain that the situation is out of control. Sadness is an emotion. You can work through an emotion. Depression is a condition. You feel powerless against the condition. By immediately jumping to the conclusion that you have depression every time when life gets hard, you strip away your own accountability. You give yourself permission to give up. I can't go to the gym. I'm depressed. I can't work on my business. I'm depressed. I can't be a good friend right now. I'm depressed. It becomes the ultimate excuse to become stagnant. You wrap yourself up in this blanket of misery because being miserable is easy. Facing the rejection and actually putting in the work to be happy, now that's hard. We have to stop feeding the darkness. And let's talk about how we feed that darkness today, because it's literally engineered to keep you trapped. Think about what happens when you're sitting in a dark room feeling sorry for yourself. You pull out your phone, you open TikTok or Instagram, and you linger on one sad video. Maybe it's a quote about heartbreak, or a movie edit with some slow, sad song in the background. You watched it twice. The algorithm immediately takes note. It says, oh, he's sad right now. Perfect. Let's feed him 100 more videos exactly like this. Within 10 minutes, your feed is flooded with people romanticizing their own downfall, talking about how hopeless life is and making jokes about giving up. You end up in this digital echo chamber that convinces you the entire world is just as miserable as you are. It validates your worst feelings. It makes you think, well, if everyone else feels this empty and hopeless, why should I even try to snap out of it? You are literally letting a computer code brainwash you into staying at rock bottom just to keep you scrolling. But if we're going to be completely honest with ourselves, there's a deeper reason why so many guys and girls let themselves get stuck in that loop. It's because sadness is comfortable. Think about it. Being sad demands absolutely nothing from you. It requires zero efforts. You don't have to clean your room. You don't have to go to the gym. You don't have to study, and you don't have to face the real world. If you adopt an identity of someone who is depressed, you automatically give yourself a free pass to avoid the friction of life. It becomes the ultimate procrastinating tool. If you actually admit to yourself that you're capable of feeling better, you suddenly have responsibilities again. Suddenly, you have to hold yourself accountable. You have to get out of bed and actually do the hard work of building a life you are proud of. And that terrifies so many people. We use this exaggerated sadness as a shield to protect us from the fear of failure. Because if you never try to be happy, you can never fail at it. If you set the bar at rock bottom, you never have to worry about tripping over it. But that's an incredibly pathetic way to spend the best years of your life. You're sidelining yourself in your own story just because the bench feels safe. If something terrible happens, if you lose someone close to you, if you experience a genuine tragedy, then absolutely, take the time to grieve. I'm really sorry if you're going through that. But for the vast majority of setbacks in life, a breakup, a bad grade, a missed opportunity, you have a choice in how you respond. You can either be the architect of your own misery or find the lesson. My entire mindset, the way I try to live every single day, is based on finding the positive in the negative. No matter how bad the situation is, no matter how much it hurts, there is always something you can extract from it. If a girl breaks your heart, that's an opportunity. You now have all this extra time and emotional energy that you were spending on her. Put it into yourself. Hit the gym harder, get your money up, focus on your actual friends. Let that heartbreak be the fuel that turns you into a completely unrecognizable, upgraded version of yourself a year from now. If you fail at a project, that isn't the end of the world. It's a data point. Now you know exactly what to not do the next time. Happiness is not something that just passively happens to you. It's a choice. It's a discipline. You have to actively fight for it. When you feel that wave of sadness coming on, you have to consciously catch yourself. You have to look at the dark bedroom, look at the sad playlist, and say, no, I'm not doing this today. Go outside. Go get some sun on your skin. Call a friend. Go do something physically exhausting. Break the cycle. Stop letting a temporary setback define your entire personality. Stop looking for validation in your suffering. The world doesn't care if you're sad, and the people who are clapping for your misery are usually just happy that you're down in the mud with them. You are capable of so much more than sitting in a dark room feeling sorry for yourself. You are not the main tragic character in a movie. You are the author of your own life. Stop writing a tragedy when you have the pen to write a comeback story. Sadness is a feeling, not a lifestyle. Stop romanticizing your rock bottom and start building your way out of it.